This is William, hopefully your favorite videographer. We are here at the Dallas Area Rapid Transit Board meeting, the agency known as DART to Dallas, Texas residents. As a service to the Dallas community, we plan to cover DART board meetings from gavel to gavel. Public comments are required to keep DART board aware of issues close to the ridership that they may not get through other resources.
Good evening. It is now 6:30 and the DART Board of Directors is now in session. I want to welcome all of you and wish you all a happy Thanksgiving because we won't see you again until after Thanksgiving. And the first item on the agenda for approval are the minutes from October 24th, 2017. Does anyone have any changes or edits to those minutes? If not, do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. The next item is public comments. I'm going to read you our general statement, and then we will call the speakers up in order that they signed in. General public comments will be allowed at the beginning of each DART board meeting for a total of 30 minutes, and again at the end of the meeting when the 30-minute period does not accommodate all persons who have signed up to speak. If you wish to speak at the end of the meeting, please fill out a public speaker card and turn it into board support staff prior to the start of the meeting. Individuals who have addressed the board for the past 30 days will be recognized to speak during the public comment period at the end of the meeting. During the public comment period, board members may not interact with the speakers or other board members by asking questions or offering their own comments. Members of the public are reminded that their behavior during DART board meetings is governed by the DART Board Code of Conduct for citizens, news media, and visitors. Personal attacks, impertinent or slanderous remarks, and boisterous conduct will not be allowed. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to address the board. The green light on the podium will indicate when you can begin your speaking. The yellow light indicates that you have 1 minute left, and the red light indicates that your time has expired. Our first speaker this evening is Richard Sheridan.
Yes, good evening, Richard Sheridan, 3817 Vanette Lane, Dallas, Texas. Here to basically call for a no on any fare increase, and then also to develop downtown Dallas ridership. There are members here that were appointed by the City Council, and basically it's like a holistic approach. So I've spoken before this on very important subject facing Dallas: poor, elderly, and handicapped. DART must maintain the current fares until two things happen. Number one, Dallas economy significantly improves and Dallas poor significantly benefit from it. Two, DART, working with our City Council, develops a plan to create many downtown affordable entertainment venues which would attract residents from both North Dallas and from the poor Dallas communities. And by the way, Clyde Warren Park is not affordable for the working class in Dallas. So today's Dallas economy is a good summary of Dallas economic situation as reported by NBC News 5. NBC News statistics released by the Dallas Poverty Task Force reveal that the poverty rate in Dallas has reached a crisis point. The Dallas economy has proven to work well for millionaires, but neglected to provide opportunities and positive growth for the poor and working class, the report shows. According to recent data, more than half of Dallas households make less than $50,000 a year, 28% of households make less than $25,000 a year, and 27% make less than $20,000 a year. The Poverty Task Force has compared the poverty rate in Dallas to Philadelphia and Baltimore. Systems in place have for decades denied portions of the city's poor and working class the opportunity for advancement. According to recent data, 90% of Dallas jobs are north of I-30 and no south would suffer from this fare increase. By the way, DART's 20% fare increase every 5 years is much greater than the rate of inflation, and also for most workers over the past few decades, they have seen very either no or real wage or decrease. So I got 56 seconds left. Okay. So downtown Dallas venues. I was reminded of the benefit of public transit systems last Friday night with the Stars game. The trains were full. And why can't the trains be full 365 days a year, not just on the weekends? If there's at least three opportunities, 901 Main Street, Fair Park, and the West End. If 901 Main Street had an observation tower like they do in New York atop the Rockefeller Center or on top of the Empire State Building. Those two venues bring in about $2 to $3 million a year. And then Fair Park there's a contract out, and hopefully that'll be developed again for affordable venues. And the West End used to be the #1 attraction in downtown. I don't know what happened to that, but that needs to be developed. So the city with DART would benefit from downtown venues, riderships will go up, city tax income would go up. So thank you very much for your attention, appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Sheridan, appreciate it. The next speaker is Mr. Alexander or Ms. Alexander? T. Alexander. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Tanya Alexander, 7934 Greenspan Avenue, Dallas, Texas. I have a few things that I'd like to make note that DART needs to help with the citizens of Dallas. We need to know what you can do for riders besides rake them over the coals with a fare hike. We don't get what we pay for. Customer service needs an overhaul. Your customer service reps need retraining. We don't get always adequate information in regards to the trips that we take and routing. And when was the last time your customer service reps were evaluated for accuracy? You ask riders to be at their stops 3 or 5 minutes before time for the bus scheduled, but we don't always get the bus in that accurate time period as well. We do understand the expected change as far as traffic goes, but again, you ask us to be at the stop 3 to 5 minutes. And also, we don't get a follow-up to the calls when we have complaints. No one lets us know how the issues are resolved. What about extended hours with your customer care? Their hours are 8 to 5, banker's hours. They could be extended to 7 p.m. Also, people work late hours. So what about people that need information after their offices are closed at 8 o'clock p.m.? We could have an additional hour for them as well. And that's it. Thank you for your time.
Ms. Alexander, would you like to speak to Nevin Grinnell about the customer service?
Yes, sure. I mean, it's not like they're going to do anything. You can leave messages. They never get back to you, but sure, I would love to.
Mr. Grinnell is standing right over there.
Okay.
If you'll speak with him, maybe he
I
can
will.
help you. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next speaker is Reginald Merriweather. Is Reginald Merriweather here? No? Okay. Next speaker after that is Coach Norris Johnson.
Special good evening to Mr. Gary Thomas, Ms. Sue Bowman, our newly appointed chairman, and I thank you for your time, and in advance, I wish all of you a happy Thanksgiving also. The one item of interest I had for this afternoon was with resolution item 12, with DART security, operations safety, and I understand that Patrick Kennedy and Carol Wise will be addressing that in more detail later on. But one suggestion I had, and I did observe quite a bit of proactive, very good movement in the state fair crowd. The trains had 3 connectivities to it, three levels of ridership, and it went pretty smooth. Why not a connectivity of 3 trains during the rush hour during the week in the afternoon? People tend to get a little edgy when they're stacked in a train like sardines and standing up, tired from work, frustrated, panhandlers, etc. So that's pretty much it for me. I thank you for your time. I do hope that you're able to continue doing a good job giving our fair city one of the very best transit systems here in America. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. The next speaker is I'm sorry, Stephanie Young. Is Ms. Young here?
Good evening, my name is Stephanie Young. I live at 2631 John West, Dallas, Texas, 75228. And I am against the fare going up. I also am against the drivers. Like she was saying, they need to be retrained. The 110 and the ones that drive in the residential area that I live in, those drivers are rude. And for the past 3 Tuesdays, the 110 has been late or broke down. There is no need for that. It has even been a number of times where during the week, I have gotten off work and they say they do not have a driver. I don't understand that, because when I lived in a different area, it wasn't no such thing as it didn't have a driver to take me home. So I don't understand in the area that I'm living in, which is mostly people of color, that they have to deal with this and go through this. This is ridiculous. They're late, they're rude, and for them not to have a driver, the 110 runs every hour on Saturday. That's the only time that bus runs. That bus is full and people over there need to get where they need to go. It needs to be changed for more than 1 hour. That's ridiculous. Also, again, they're rude. They need to be retrained or send someone out there to watch them. One of the drivers say it's dangerous on that end of town. That's the reason no one don't want to drive it. Maybe you guys should think about hiring a police officer to take over that end, or talk to them about it, or give them some safety classes. Also, the area that I'm staying in, I don't know if I need to call a complaint or Dort needs to, but the public school bus is on the same route as the public transportation. They have the kids standing right there with us, so we're all in the mix. And it's hard for the drivers to get to us, and it's hard for us to get to the bus, and they're also trying to get to school, and we're trying to get to work. That's a headache. So thank you for your time.
Well,
You guys
thank
have a
you.
nice
Ms. Young, would you like to speak with Tim Newby? I believe he's right over there raising his hand.
If
Maybe
he's
he,
going to do something, yes. If not, I don't want to waste his time or mine.
well, at least ask him and see what he can do for you.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. The next speaker is Kenneth Day.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Madam Chair, congratulations.
Thank you.
Honorable board members, congratulations to all of you. I want to start out, and Mr. Thomas, how are you doing? I want to start out on a positive note. I met with your planning department this week, and we were updated on the upcoming changes. Real great meeting, including discussing the concerns that Councilman Caraway had on his request. But thank you for that. I want to talk about the ongoing safety issues with the DART employees. Within the last about 3 to 4 months, we've had about 5 female operators that has been assaulted. And then the other concern we have, you got, when the transit police come out, we become the target. We being the operators. We're the target. We're arrested, taken to jail, hit with a big charge that 90% or almost all the time the charge get reduced. But that's after we are forced to bond out of jail, hire an attorney, go to court. Why is that? You call the transit police, it's taking them an hour and a half to come. Why is that? Maybe they're sitting in the courthouse writing tickets, or they're out knocking on somebody's door trying to serve a warrant. We need them out there in the service area. We can't depend on transit police officers. Something is going on. We're arrested, we're losing our jobs, and we continue to be assaulted. Something needs to be done. We are held accountable as hourly employees. Why aren't they held accountable? Several months ago, we went to court over a lawsuit. Right now, a $3 million tag on the company. Why isn't somebody held responsible for that? In the private world, let someone make a decision that costs this agency or costs the company $3 million. Somebody's going to be held responsible. This is happening because nobody's held accountable. We're asking you all for some support, some help. We're tired of being arrested. We're transit employees trying to do our job. And we don't want to lose our job just because we're trying to defend ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Day. The next speaker is Ms. McDaniel. Ms. McDaniel? Geraldine McDaniel, yeah. Now she's the child.
I didn't know I was going to be called this early. Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello.
I just want to bring out a few points, and some of y'all, especially the new ones, don't know what I've did in the past. And I mostly worked with the planning department. And I have some concerns about the 522 bus at Lancaster Key Shopping Center. And I can't understand why the planners or no one has looked into this. That's why you need people like me that goes everywhere. And there is 4 buses, normally supposed to be 3. You got 4 buses there, and the 522 just sits there. It uses its waiting time there. When you got the 405, the 444, and the 541. You got 3 other buses. And the seniors and disabled people got to go behind 3 and 4 buses, and that bus be still sitting there and using waiting time. And then another one comes up. They run in too often. It's you got 2 Beckley buses, 522, sitting there with 3 other buses. This doesn't make no sense. And so, and some of them are rude when you ask them to pull up, that they sitting in the way. And I just would like to see this taken care of. That they find another waiting place for this 522 bus on its own line, and maybe at the end of its line. And other things, and I ain't gonna take too much time, but other simple things that people needs to pay attention to. I don't know, is it marketing or who? Say, for instance, the schedules. The schedules could be improved, like, say, for instance, Walmart. They don't have places, you don't know what bus goes to Walmart. Maybe they have one on this or that. I mean, a company like that, every bus that goes that, and one of them should, be noted. And also, one other thing, let's see, sorry that I'm, well, anyway, if I have to say anything else, I'll put it in writing. So
Thank you, Ms. McDaniel.
thank you, but I would like to see, who would I talk to be this?
Todd Plesko?
Who?
Mr. Plesko? Todd Plesko is out in the audience, raising his hand behind you.
Oh, I know, I know everybody.
I thought you might. Okay.
After 30 years.
Thank you very much. Has Reginald Merriweather come into the room? He was not here in the beginning when I call for the speakers? All right, since he is not here, we have speakers that have signed up for the end of the meeting. And with that, excuse me, with that, I will conclude the first speaker's comments, and we will look at the item 4 and 5, which are consent items. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Item 8, 9, and 10 has been deferred, and so we will do item 11. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped one. Item number 6 we'll go back to, is the appointment of directors to the Regional Rail Right-of-Way. And Mr. Stouffer, would you like to take that?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would move that Chair Sue Bowman, Vice Chair Paul Wageman, and Gary Thomas to serve on the Regional Rail Company compensation for general counsel,
We
or
have a
compensation
motion.
for direct board support.
All in favor? Aye. Any noes? The motion carries. Item 7 is approval of the January 29th, 2018 D-Link service modifications. Ms. Marino.
Yes, Madam Chair. Item 7 did come before the Planning Committee, and I move approval.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Number 11 is the approval of fiscal year 2017 goals related to compensation for the President Executive Director. Mr. Stouffer?
Thank you, Madam Chair. It is the will of the Executive Compensation Committee to bring forward the recommendation that Mr. Gary Thomas has accomplished 77% of his 2017 performance goals. Second.
All in favor? Anybody disapprove? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 12 is a resolution in support of enhanced security throughout the DART transit system. Mr. Wageman?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This item was the same night item, came before the Operations Committee where it was approved unanimously, and then also by the Committee of the Whole. I urge its approval here tonight by the full board, and pleased to make a motion for its approval.
Second. Thank you. All in favor?
Chair,
Any? Yes, Mr. Killen.
some discussion. I think for the benefit of the public, it may be well for us to at least read I think it's section 2 that at least outlines what that is, since it was, I don't think it was posted online.
All right. Good suggestion.
And then after that, you please make a comment.
Thank you, Mr. Killen. I'm pleased to read for the benefit of the public and into the record section 2 of the resolution, which states that the Board of Directors directs the President or Executive Director to improve security for DART's customers by taking the following actions. Immediately assign 8 DART police officers to the West End Station and adjacent areas, and 3 additional DART police officers to patrol other DART facilities within Dallas's Central Business District. Investigate deployment of security guard patrols on all train platforms. Immediately deploy additional DART police and fare enforcement officers to patrol trains while in service, while obtaining 100% coverage by March 2018. Provide additional security cameras to monitor high-activity locations throughout DART system by May 2018. Complete installation of security cameras on the first 48 light rail vehicles by March 31st, 2018, and the next group of at least 50 vehicles by March 31st of 2019, and completing installation on all remaining vehicles by March 27th, 2020. Increase and improve coordination with city police departments within the service area, including establishment of regular coordination meetings with each of the departments to be attended by DART's Chief of Police or his designee. Implement a communication protocol to inform immediately the Board of Directors of any serious incident involving DART or its passengers and the action taken to address the incident. Evaluate bus routes and transit facilities to identify and implement service changes that would enhance security. Implement other technology enhancements to support efforts to strengthen security. Implement environmental design improvements to enhance security at DART facilities. and implement a communications and messaging strategy to increase the public's awareness of DART security initiatives. Section 3 requires the President and Executive Director to widely communicate the DART Board's commitment to enhance security to DART's customers and employees, to cities in the DART service area, and to local news media and to the public at large.
Thank you, Mr. Gillen. Appreciate it. Thanks, Mr. Okay. We
I
took.
think Mr. Killen had
Oh,
a
I'm
question
sorry.
or
I
comment.
apologize, Mr.
Yeah,
Gillen.
no, I just wanted to make a comment. I know since we discussed this a bit during, I think it was our Operations Committee, and then I don't believe we discussed it at the Committee of the Whole. We were prepared to adopt it as the same night item. Just I'm glad that we're making this resolution at this time. I'm particularly concerned and hopeful about us being able to reach the 100% coverage on our light rail vehicles by March of 2018. I know that we're still working through how we get to 100% or what that looks like. So right now, we've got officers, fair enforcement officers, and contractor security that are helping us that are doing coverage right now, and then we may use them to get to this 100%. I'd like to see the board continue to work through what exactly we want, work with the chief to figure out what the right mix of that is and what the most efficient use of resources to get to that 100%. And because I really care about the 100%, I'd like to see us go further than this resolution at some future date as we learn more about what we're doing, but to figure out how to make this into a policy so that our future budgets and additional fiscal years, we don't have to keep issuing resolutions that reiterate how important this is. I think between the coverage and all the other things that we're outlining in the resolution, I think we need to look at how we can turn these things into policies so that they are ongoing and sustainable. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ms.
No, that's
Cuellar.
okay. When this was presented in committee, Ms. Long-Kraus requested that we change the language to say that we were going to investigate the deployment of security officers. Then in our subsequent discussion, I felt like our conversation satisfied requirements of investigation, and I would like to make a friendly amendment that we return to the originally suggested language of deploying safety patrol. Friendly amendment.
Well, the author of the motion would accept that friendly amendment, Ms. Kraus?
I think that I still don't have my questions answered. I have additional questions I'd like that I want to make sure that the training and that we provide for the security guards are adequate for doing the tasks that they have. I do have additional questions that I believe supposed to be addressed at the next meeting. Thank you. So I would hope that the language stays the same as it is, because it gives us the flexibility that we need, because we can always deploy. It allows us to do extra rather than limiting it. So we can always deploy it at any time as well. Thank you.
You withdraw your... Okay.
All right, so we go back to the original resolution. And do we have a motion and a second on the table? All right, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any noes? The ayes have it unanimously. Thank you, the motion passes. I beg your pardon? Yeah, we did. I'm sorry, we have a little discussion here.
Madam Chair, before we move on, could we take up item 6 again? I'm not sure I understood. I think there may have just been some confusion on what item 6 was by Mr. Stouffer, if I heard it correctly.
Yeah. We pull it back down so I can read item 6. Item 6 was the appointment of Chair Sue Bowman, Vice Chair Paul Wageman, and Gary Thomas to the directors of the Regional Rail Right-of-Way Company Board of Directors.
Second.
Thank you.
Is that okay? Do you have any other questions?
It's good to clarify it.
Yeah, just.
Okay. We are now going to move into the second public comment period at the end of the meeting. I'm not going to reread the rules. You all do know the rules. I read them at the beginning of the meeting. So we'll be following the same format. And the first speaker for the second round is Albert Durla.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Gary Thomas, and the rest of the board. I'm here to speak to you again to pick up where I spoke last time, hiring of big bus operators, not giving consideration to smart bus operators. DART did again, and on October 9th, they hired approximately 30 big bus external operators and not giving external consideration to the smart bus operators as policy says. Also, DART, when they see fit, wants to waive Section 322, that's the probationary period, to allow other operators to apply for big bus operator positions when they want to, when they see warranted. This is a violation of the policy. A few years ago, ATU proposed a proposal to reduce the probationary period to 60 days. This would have remedied this situation for DART, and DART rejected that proposal. Also, to piggyback off what my president was talking about earlier, one of the operators that was assaulted, she wasn't able to make it because she had other commitments. Just about 2 weeks ago, she was on an old Navy. She was punched in the face by a male passenger. The male passenger in turn punched another passenger. Addison Transit Police Department got there before Transit Police. It took Transit Police approximately 30 to 40 minutes to get out there. This is totally unacceptable for DART, especially if DART's going to be in the business of police. Also, on the type of bus she was on, I talked about safety shields. That 5734 that she was on, bus number 5734, does not have a safety shield. The new express buses that came in with safety shields to protect the operators. DART took the safety shields off the new express buses because there wasn't enough room for the driver. That's all good. They're thinking about the driver, but they never came back to reconfigure the safety shield, a new safety shield to put on those new express buses. So right now, DART has two type of buses without a safety shield on it, not protecting the operator. Thank you. I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you for your time.
Thank you, appreciate it. Next speaker is Mr. DeBoss Christian.
Hello. Congratulations, Ms. Bowman.
Thank you.
New appointees. You just don't know what you stepped into, but I'm praying for you. I got a problem, and it's an issue. And then as a board as a whole, I've been here 18, 19 years, and we failed. We failed the employers of DART. President Kennedy mentioned to you earlier about the assaults. That's an issue. That's an ongoing issue. We got ridership riding passengers are saying while we're driving the buses, DART don't care about us. meaning the passengers. And I intervened with one passenger, and I said, well, why do you feel that? And she said, because Dart don't care about you, the driver. She said she's been riding for 20 years. She don't watch approximately 4 operators get assaulted. And our 4 went to jail. Now, when operators are calling Dart and asking for assistance, and because transit police felt like they might have been more aggressive, they went to jail. But when we had an operator back in 2013, 2014, Miss Virginia Alexander, got assaulted, got drugged off the bus. He got assaulted off the bus, woke up in the hospital. It was fine. See, the problem that I got, we have nothing set up for this incident. We have no protocols. We have no mandatory, nothing consistent of this. When operator get assaulted, no counseling, no EAP mandate. Nothing to say whether an operator can come back and even drive the bus. And they allow her to come back and drive the bus. And when she get out there and get into it with another passenger, she's fired because of what she went through. Other issue, blind spots. Northwest, we had an operator run over another operator in the parking lot. Blind spots. We had another operator out of East Dallas. Hit a pedestrian walking across the street because of the blind spots. Now, we brought it to your attention that blind spots are an issue. How many people have to die / get hurt for us to do something about the blind spots? And then the sad thing about it is we go back and get charged for it. Now, we're telling you there's a problem, but your management is coming back and charging the operators because of something that they technically can't fix. Now, I heard a young lady mention the aspect about Route 110, about the drivers of being rude. When drivers are hearing that, if I get into a confrontation, then I'm going to be held accountable, is not for something that I chose to do. And the issue, I got you, and the issue is, why should I go through that? So when they don't be courteous, or when they in the Route 110, there's ongoing issues consistent of that with safety. I'm asking you, I'm pleading with you to reach out and help us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Christian. The last speaker is Michael Gonzalez. Is Mr. Gonzalez here?
Howdy, good evening. Michael Gonzalez, I live in 9809 Audelia Road. I'd just like to state for the record that I am against any fare increases. This establishes a paywall that blocks those who rely most on public transit the most. And if you want to build more revenue, then I believe you should be able to make it more affordable for more riders to be able to ride more often. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. That was our last speaker. So I am going to adjourn the dartboard meeting at 7:10. Thank you very much for coming. Appreciate it.
Ms. William, hopefully your favorite videographer. We love comments. If you don't like the way Dart is handling things, lay it out for everyone to see. If you like or hate this video, tell us. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, tell us. We even love it when you call. Better yet, like or follow us on Facebook or subscribe to us on YouTube and get instant notices of all our videos the moment they are posted.